everyone, and this is the video that is classification of lawyers, its role and functions. So, for better understanding, we will discuss the classification in the two phases. Now, what are these two phases? You can see over here. First is the Pre-Advocates Act. Means during the British period, primarily categorized into two categories, which are as the first is the British practitioners, that is barristers, solicitors, advocates and attorneys. And the second is the Indian practitioners, those are vakil, pleaders and mukaddars. Now the second phase is, can you anyone tell me what would the second phase? Advocate Acts, correct. That is Advocate Acts or after independence, that is after the British rule. So it comes as only the advocates. So let's discuss each of them into detail. The first as we saw is about the barristers. Barristers of England had come to occupy a predominant position in the legal profession in the British India. On the original site of the Calcutta High Court, only barristers could practice, even though the distinction between the barristers and the vakils had been removed by the other high courts. Okay, I would tell you one statement that whenever someone has to be a lawyer or someone wishes to be a lawyer, the old persons who are from the British era sometime in the house, they say, "Tujhe barrister banna hai." That is what is barrister. Okay, yeah. The second is the solicitors. Prior to the enactment of the Advocates Act, solicitors referred to the British solicitors who were permitted to practice in the high courts in the pre-independence India. Today in the Bombay and the Calcutta High Courts, there is a separate class of legal practitioners known as solicitors who prepare the case but do not argue in the court. The third is the attorneys. Attorneys previously only referred to the British attorneys or the solicitors, but now this definition is sometimes used to refer to the advocates. The next is the vakils. Vakils were native practitioners who were qualified to appear and practice in the high courts of the pre-independence India. Then comes as the pleaders. Now who are the pleaders? Can anyone tell me? Yeah, so pleaders are nothing but the law graduates who did not possess the additional qualification for the enrollment as a vakil of the High Court, and non-law graduates who could pass the pleadership examination which is held by the High Court. They were given certificates enabling them to act and plead as the pleaders in the district and the subordinate courts. The pleaders, they had entry into the High Court only after gaining an experience of the certain number of years as a pleaders. The next comes as mukaddars. The mukaddars were the another class of practitioners in the subordinate courts. They were the persons who had, after passing the entrance examination corresponding to the matriculation examination of the later times, which passed the mukaddarship examination which is held by the High Court. Now that we will move towards the famous word which is known as advocates. Now anyone can tell me who are advocates? Now you all will tell me who wear the black coat, who go in the court. Yes, you are absolutely right. So prior to the enactment of the Advocates Act, the term advocates referred only to the English and the Irish barristers and the members of the faculty of the advocates in the Scotland. This class was permitted to practice in the Supreme Court of the Judicature in Bengal to the exclusion of the native practitioners. However, today this term is used to refer to the lawyers who are qualified to practice in the courts of India. An advocate possesses a law degree and is enrolled with the Bar Council as prescribed by the Advocates Act 1961. Advocates are the only class of the persons who are legally entitled to practice law or to provide the legal advice. After being authorized to appear in the case by a client who has signed a wakalatnama, advocates prepare the cases and argue them in the court. When appearing in a courtroom, an advocate usually dresses in a black and a white and wears a band and a gown. That is what are advocates. Now comes is advocates on record. An advocate on record, that is AOR, is an advocate who has passed a qualifying examination which is conducted by the Supreme Court. The examination is taken by an advocate who has been enrolled with the Bar Council for at least 5 years and has completed 1 year training with an AOR of not less than 5 years standing. Only an AOR can file a wakalat, a petition, an affidavit or any other application on behalf of a party in the Supreme Court. This is just regarding Supreme Court, you can see. All the procedural aspects of the case are dealt with the AOR with the assistance of the registered clerk. It is the AOR's name that appears on the cause list. The AOR is held accountable by the Supreme Court for the conduct of the case. Any notice and correspondence from the Supreme Court, they are sent to the AOR and not to the party. AORs can argue the matters, but frequently they serve in a solicitor-like role. I hope you all must be clear with the basic information and the phases which we saw, that is phase 1 and phase 2. So if you have any query regarding this, do comment in the comment box given below. Take care and stay safe. Thank you.